burden to or on someone/thing. I'm struggling with the word burden used in a phrase, whether it should be followed by the word on or to. It might be obvious to some of you, but I am not a native speaker. Or maybe there is another preposition that is more appropriate. I am willing to listen to your ideas. The specific sentence I'm using, burden, in is: laws will help the progress in human advancement rather than becoming a burden to/on civilization.
The word burden has an etymology originating from to bear. I am thus convinced that on would be a more appropriate preposition. Beside the etymology, I feel like taking a stab at the reason why this sentence is confusing by examining the word becoming. The phrase is becoming a burden under civilization. If one focused on the partial phrase burden under civilization, the preposition on may be more obvious, but in the context of the full phrase, one can just as well interpret a burden as an attribute to the verb becoming. For example, becoming a man is different from becoming a dog because the object into which the subject has become is specified, and one may understand becoming as a somewhat isolated action. For many verbs that do not have their own special preposition, to is used to agglutinate a verb to a target. So, if the original sentence is understood as law becomes a burden, and this action has effect against civilization, then the preposition to may be plausibly used. But if it is understood as law becomes some burden, and this burden is specifically a burden on civilization, then the preposition on would seem appropriate with respect to etymology. Finally, the preposition of may be used in lieu of the other two.
I would say it really depends on the context of how you're saying it. Would simply mean that it is a rigorous task, and is not something one would choose to do. This could be dishes/laundry as a young child, or even going to work if you're of age. Seems to mean that someone/something has become a bother, to the point that it is irritating seeing that item. It would be the same as someone constantly being in the way of plans wanting to be made, or even something as simple as a family member having to be taken care of by a loved one.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.